Bernie was my favorite cousin because he was the only one who didn't treat me like a little kid when I was 11. So when he said we should prank our parents for April Fool's Day, I didn't need any convincing. Bernie's pranks were always the best. The year before, he put plastic wrap under the toilet seat, and his dad totally fell for it. We laughed about it for months. This time, we kept it simple. My uncle's farm had a huge corn maze they opened every October. By April, the corn was already about 8 feet tall. Bernie said we'd sneak out, hide in the maze, and watch our parents panic. They'll be running around yelling our names like idiots, he said, laughing. That night, while our parents were eating, drinking wine, and having a good time, Bernie grabbed my arm and whispered that it was time. We slipped out the back and ran across the field, laughing. The maze entrance was about 200 yards away, far enough that they wouldn't hear us. It was that strange time just before nightfall when everything turns gray. The corn rustled in the wind, and the maze felt bigger than I remembered. The paths were narrow, and the stalks towered over us. We turned left, then right, then left again. Bernie kept saying we needed to go deeper. At the next turn, a rock dug into my heel. I hopped on one foot when I heard something in the corn. My heart started racing. I stopped and listened. I asked Bernie. He paused too, listening to soft footsteps behind us. Probably just a farm worker, he said with a shrug. Come on, let's hide and scare him. We ducked behind a corner and pressed ourselves against the corn. The stalks were rough, scratching our arms, smelling like dirt and fertilizer. The footsteps got closer, slow and dragging, like whoever it was might be hurt or unsteady. When they were right near us, Bernie gave me a thumbs up. Then, a man stepped around the corner and stopped just a few feet away. He was tall, about my dad's height, wearing a dirty flannel shirt. His gray hair was messy, and he was holding a large machete. Bernie and I froze as the man stared down the path without saying anything. Then he slowly turned his head and looked straight at us. I screamed. Bernie grabbed my hand and we ran. Behind us, I could hear his boots scraping the ground and the sound of corn being cut as he forced his way through the corn. We kept turning, Bernie pulling me along. At one point, my shoe flew off, but he didn't let me stop. The sound behind us got louder. He was getting closer. Come on, Grace, Bernie shouted. We hit a dead end, a wall of corn. We turned around, and the man was right there, blocking the path. He raised the machete. Go through the corn. Bernie shoved me toward the wall. I started pushing through the stalks. They were thick and cut into my hands, but I kept going until I made a gap. Come on, Bernie, I yelled, holding the stalks apart. He reached for me. Our fingers almost touched. Then the man grabbed Bernie's shirt and pulled him back. Bernie screamed. Our hands brushed for a second before he was pulled away into the maze. I heard him shouting for help. I pushed through the corn and stumbled onto another path, then just ran, turning randomly, not even thinking. My bare foot was bleeding, but I didn't stop. Eventually, I saw the farmhouse lights through the corn and sprinted toward them. My mom found me about 10 minutes later, calling my name. She looked annoyed at first, until she saw me. I was covered in scratches, missing a shoe, crying uncontrollably. She asked where Bernie was. I just pointed at the maze. All the adults went in with flashlights, shouting his name. Uncle Rob had a baseball bat. They searched for over an hour, but came back with nothing. The police arrived around midnight. They brought dogs and searched the entire maze with floodlights. They found Bernie's backpack near the dead end. His phone was inside. They also found part of his hand buried in the dirt nearby. They never found anything else. They never found the man either. My uncle said there were no workers on the farm that day. I told the police everything. They searched everywhere, but no one in town had seen or heard anything. My uncle shut down the maze and plowed it under. 2 weeks later, Bernie is still missing. That's all they ever found of him. It's been almost 5 years since that April Fool's Day. I still have nightmares about reaching for Bernie's hand, about losing him. My mom says I have PTSD, that I was just a kid and couldn't have done anything. But she didn't see his face when the man grabbed him. She didn't hear him call my name. Sometimes I wonder if that man is still out there hiding in another corn maze on another farm, waiting for kids who think pranks are funny. Bernie's prank left a void no one could fill, but some jokes follow you even deeper into the dark. If you're brave enough to stay in the shadows with me, sacrifice a like and hit subscribe. It's the only way to keep the lights on. Now, let's see what's waiting in the tunnel. Have you heard of the crying woman? Isaac asks. I took a big bite of my chocolate cookie and laughed. Shut up, Isaac. We all know tomorrow's April Fool's. Your prank isn't going to work. Zeke defended himself, saying his neighbor's son had seen a pale woman in the abandoned tunnel near the railroad tracks. When he saw her, he ran away. He said she had no eyelids and no lips. I didn't believe a word of it. I was sure it was just a joke. But Isaac kept making fun of me, saying I wasn't brave enough and all that. Later, as we were walking home from school, Zeke brought it up again. The argument kept going until suddenly he said whoever went to the tunnel right now and filmed it would get a free bucket of KFC nuggets tomorrow. I thought Milo would say yes immediately. Food is basically his only motivation, but surprisingly, he hesitated. That's when I realized the two of them were in on it. They just wanted me to go, freak out, and then tell everyone how I fell for their April Fool's prank. So I accepted the challenge. I told them to go home while I headed toward the woods. My plan was simple. Go to the tunnel, film myself walking around for 10 to 15 minutes, then head back. As I walked, I kept checking behind me to make sure Zeke or Milo weren't following. They weren't. The railroad used to carry coal miners before the war. I'd been there a few times with my dad to collect rare plants for our garden. The place had basically turned into an overgrown sanctuary. By the time I got there, the sun had already set. The massive abandoned tunnel stood in front of me. I turned on my phone flashlight to see in the dark. The tunnel was only about 30 feet long. You could clearly see the other end. I started recording. Trees and ivy had turned it into something like a greenhouse. Bats hung from the ceiling. Water dripped from above. The air smelt like rotting leaves and dead animals. I walked around a bit, took a few selfies. 10 minutes passed. No eyelid-less woman. I sent Isaac a voice message telling him to get ready to buy my nuggets. I was about to leave when I heard something in the corner. At first, I thought it was a rat, but when I got closer, I saw a bat lying there, twitching. Pretty horrible, huh? I jumped at the rough voice behind me. It was a homeless man, probably in his 40s. His face twisted into a smile as he repeated, "Pretty horrible, huh?" His sudden appearance shook me, but I tried to stay calm. Didn't hear you come in," I said. Just like that. Didn't hear the predator either. I let out a nervous laugh. Ear funny. He stopped smiling. He stepped closer to the bat and crushed it under his foot. "Better to end its suffering," he muttered. Eyes closed, I'm not usually scared easily, but I was on the verge of losing it. I'd seen enough horror stories to know when people run, they get chased. So I was so scared I wasn't even sure I'd make it alive if I bolted. So I forced myself to act calm. Well, it's getting late. My mom's going to worry. I turned around and started walking, trying to look as normal as possible. I resisted the urge to look back. A few seconds later, I didn't need to. He was walking right beside me. "So, what were you doing here?" he asked. "Just exploring," I said. "What's there to explore here?" We kept walking. The tunnel suddenly felt endless. "Nothing, just a walk," I muttered. My throat was so dry I could barely speak. He matched my pace, way too close, our shoulders almost touching. I calculated every movement. Staying calm felt like my only way out. Sweat ran down my face, but I was too scared to wipe it. He chuckled. "You're sweating a lot, or are you scared?" I looked at him without stopping. "If I stop, I'm dead," I told myself. "No," I said, trying to stay steady. "It's just hot in here." We were almost at the end of the tunnel. I could see the streetlight outside. Hope started building. I might actually get out of this. But just as we were about to exit, he stepped in front of me and blocked the way. My heart stopped. We looked eyes. I was on the verge of tears, but he didn't blink once. Then he leaned in, bringing his mouth close to my ear, and whispered, "Don't end up like that little animal, kid. We'll see each other again." Then he slipped something soft into my hand. I couldn't even react. I just took it like a puppet and ran. I didn't stop until I got home. I collapsed on the porch, gasping for air. My hand was still closed, holding something damp and soft. Slowly, I opened it, and I screamed. It was the bat's severed head. Selena and I broke up 4 months before April 1st. She didn't take it well and kept showing up outside my place. When she couldn't get in, she'd leave voicemails at 2 a.m., crying. When that didn't work, she started tagging me in old photos with captions like, "I miss this." My friends told me to block her. Selena had always been obsessive when we were together. That's actually why we broke up. But it was April Fool's Day. I was drunk, and I thought it would be funny to mess with her. So I texted her, "Hey Selena, I've been thinking about us. I was wrong. Can we talk? I miss you." She replied within seconds, "Oh my God, yes, yes, yes. When and where? I can come right now." I should have stopped there, told her it was a joke and blocked her number. Instead, I told her to meet me at Riverside Park at midnight, the one near her place, and said we could talk there. "I'll be there." "I knew you'd come back," she replied. I showed the whole conversation to my roommate Tyler, and we both laughed at the idea of Selena sitting alone in a dark park at midnight, while I stayed home on the couch in sweatpants. Was it mean? Yeah, but I was 23. She'd been making my life miserable for months, and I just saw it as a joke. Midnight came and went. I was on my 3rd beer playing Call of Duty. I'd completely forgotten about it until my phone buzzed around 1 a.m. "I'm so happy we're back together. Thanks for coming to see me." My heart stopped. I hadn't left my apartment. I was still in sweatpants. Tyler was sitting right next to me. There was no way Selena could think she saw me at the park, because I wasn't there. I called her immediately. It rang with no answer. I called again and again. Tyler asked what was going on. When I showed him the message, his face went pale. "Dude, who's with her?" I tried 5 more times. No answer. My hands were shaking so badly I kept messing up, but I finally managed to text, "Selena, I'm not at the park. That wasn't me. It was a stupid joke. I'm sorry. Please answer your phone. The typing dots appeared almost immediately. It's too late. Then the chat went silent. I called her roommate Jessica. She picked up on the fourth ring, half asleep and annoyed. What? Is Selena there? No, she left like 2 hours ago. Said she was meeting you. Why? My throat tightened. No, Jessica. What's going on? I told her everything. We both realized whoever sent that last message was with Selena and had her phone. Jessica started screaming and said she was calling the police before hanging up. I just sat there staring at my screen. Tyler paced back and forth saying we should go to the park, but I couldn't even get off the couch. 2 police officers showed up at my door around 2:30 a.m. They asked about my relationship with Selena and why I told her to meet me at midnight if I never planned to go. I explained the prank and watched their expressions go cold. You lured your ex to an empty park in the middle of the night as a joke. I didn't think she'd actually go. I'm sorry. She's okay, right? You found her. They searched the park. They found her car in the parking lot, unlocked. The keys were still in the ignition. Her purse was on the front seat, but her phone was gone. Near a bench by the trail, they found her left heel shoe in the dirt, with blood on the strap. Selena never came home that night. The police kept me at the station for hours, asking where I was between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. Luckily, Tyler confirmed my story, and the building cameras proved I never left. They had to let me go, but I could see what they were thinking. They searched for weeks. Nothing. The part of the park where they found the shoe had no cameras. Selena just vanished. Phone records showed the message came from her number, but by the time they tried to track it, it was already off. Probably destroyed. For months I couldn't stop crying, replaying everything. Who was waiting in that park? Someone who knew she'd be there because I told her to go. Someone who might have been watching, and I gave them everything without even realizing it. I'm 24 now. I still call Selena sometimes, hoping one day she'll answer so I can tell her how sorry I am. Jessica doesn't answer my calls anymore. Selena's family told me not to contact them. Tyler moved out 3 months later. He said he couldn't stay around me. I don't sleep. Every night I think about the same thing. Did she realize it wasn't me when she got there? Did she try to run? Or did whoever took her keep pretending long enough that she never realized what was happening until it was too late? The case is technically still open, but the detective told me last year they don't have any leads anymore. Her file is sitting in a box somewhere, collecting dust. People ask me if I think she's still alive. I don't know. I don't let myself answer that.